Yeah, so welcome everyone to today's study circle. So yes, Chitraji, would you like to share first?
Yeah, I was going through this one. No, you sent no today that about psychic. Yeah, it's very good. Actually, in connection with that only, yesterday I read something from Satprem book. Actually, the Adventures of Consciousness.
Okay, okay. Yes.
Uh, yeah, and that he told about psychic. It is very beautiful.
Mhm.
I'll read. I'll read one para from that. Actually,
Yeah.
it is a whole chapter is there. But I'll read the first para now. We are not the mind, since all our thoughts come from a mind vaster than ours, a universal mind. We are not the vital or our feelings or actions, since all our impulses come from a vital larger than ours, a universal vital. And we are not this body either, for its components are made of matter and obey laws greater than ours, universal laws. What then is the thing in us that is not our milieu, not our family, not our traditions or marriage or job? That is not the play of universal nature or circumstances, yet gives us a sense of I. Even if everything else were to collapse. As a matter of fact, it is I when everything else does collapse, because that is the hour of our truth, actually. Next para, in the course of our exploration, we have observed various centers or levels of consciousness and seen that a consciousness force is moving behind these centers. He mentioned about the previous chapters, actually, linking our various states of being together. One of the first results of silencing the mind and quieting the vital has even been to separate this consciousness force from the mental and vital activities in which it is usually stuck. We have felt that this current of force or consciousness is the essential reality of our being, behind all our states. But this consciousness force must be the consciousness of somebody. Who or what is conscious in us? Where is the center, the master? Or are we simply the puppets of some universal being who might be our true center? Since all these mental, vital, and physical activities are in fact universal ones, the truth is twofold, and in no way are we puppets, except when we insist on taking the frontal personality for ourselves, for it is the real puppet. We do have an individual center which Sri Aurobindo calls the psychic being, and a cosmic center or central being. Step by step, we must find the one and the other and become the master of all our states. For the time being, we will only go in search of our individual center, the psychic being, which others call the soul. So he gave a whole chapter, actually, and another thing is very beautiful. I will read that also. The first manifestations of the psychic are joy and love. A joy that may be prodigiously intense and powerful, but without exaltation, as tranquil and deep as the sea, and without object. Psychic joy needs nothing to be. It is. Even in the depths of a prison, it cannot help being, for it is not a feeling but a state. Like a river that is joyous wherever it flows, whether over mud or over rocks, across plains or mountains. A love that is not the opposite of hate and needs nothing either to be. It burns quietly in all that it encounters, in all it sees, all it touches, because it cannot help loving. Such is its state. Nothing is low for it, or high, or pure, or impure. Its flame cannot be tarnished, nor can its joy. Other signs reveal its presence. It is light. Nothing is a burden to it, as though the world were its play. It is invulnerable, untouched by anything, as though forever beyond tragedies. already saved from all accidents. It is wise, it sees, it is tranquil, so tranquil, a little breath in the depths of the being, and vast as the sea for millions of years. For it is eternal and it is free. Nothing can catch it, neither life, nor men, nor ideas, nor doctrines, nor countries. It is beyond, always beyond, and yet innumerably in the heart of everything, as if it were one with all, for it is God in us. So many things he wrote. Again, we will see in the next satsang. It's very beautiful. Yesterday, I was reading this book after a long time, as usual, and then this chapter came to me. I felt very happy, and today I saw your message. No.
So this is the by Satprem, and it's
Yeah.
what is it called?
Adventure of consciousness.
The Adventure of Consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of us to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think even while you were reading these lines, it just takes us somewhere else. It's amazing the power behind these.
Yeah. Really.
Really.
Again and again, I think we have. I feel I have to read again and
Yeah.
again. As you sent the message, no, the mother's saying it is beyond accidents. It's beyond. I mean, all the struggles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I think we'll touch.
So I want to share something about that book. That
Please do.
sorry, you might
Yeah.
see there might be some disturbances because I'm outside and
Yes.
in car. So this Adventure of Consciousness. Originally, it was written in French, and when he was writing it, so mother told the Satram that you write a book, or Sri Aurobindo wants you to write a book. This was written in 60s, which will open the world or open his philosophy to the Western world. And after this book was done, naturally, this book became very popular. It gained wide acceptance in various languages, not only in English, in Russian, in French, German, many languages it got translated, even in Indian languages. And then Mother said that or Satprem said that Sri Aurobindo wrote that book in entirety through me. That it is, and even if you see the language, the way he has written, it's like beautiful, like synthesis of yoga. It's like a synopsis of integral yoga, but written in a very different way. Not like factuals. He has connected dots, connected Indian mythologies with Sri Aurobindo's philosophy, put up some of the facts from his life, I mean, Sri Aurobindo's life, and correlated a very, very modern and a different approach, yet concise. That book is not very fat. It's a thin book comparatively. So thank you, Chitradi.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Jishnuji. Yeah.
And he's the one who wrote. I mean, along with mother, that agenda has come. No.
So
Something.
agenda, what it used to be, Chitradi, agenda used to be the taped conversations, but Satprem used to go and talk to mother.
Okay.
And those things were taped. Those tapes were later on, those tape transcripts were later on published as agenda.
Okay.
So what used to happen is, if you ever go to Sri Sriti, if you go to Sri Sriti even now,
Yeah.
I mean now means once it opens, you see in mother's appointment diary is there, and you will see the weekly diary. Satprem's name is there. So Satprem used to go on those dates and time and used to speak to her over various range of topics, what he has seen in his dream, what is happening with the world, and what is happening in ashram India, various things. So those things were published as agenda.
Nice. Thank you.
Have you been reading something you would like to share?
I have been reading, but today I'm not carrying anything. So I would rather participate and not share on my own. And the,
Yeah. Okay. Taru, you wanted to share?
No, I just unmuted by mistake. Yeah,
Oh,
so once
yep.
I did read something, but yeah, please let everybody complete.
So let's then maybe shortly touch upon what Chitraji you shared and what I shared in the morning, that little. So I'll just maybe find it and put it up here on the chat window so that people who are maybe Sambhav or Jishnuji can go through it because Jishnuji is not there on that group. So just a second, let me find it. Yeah, got it. Yes. So Sambhav, there is a website from which I'm sharing this. It's called The Incarnate Word, on which all the works of Sri Aurobindo and Mother are there. Okay. So,
Okay.
from that site, I am copy pasting this. I'll just share the site also here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the site, Incarnate Word. So all the works of Sri Aurobindo and Mother are just compiled together on this website. So we can just have, if
Okay.
you are searching for any particular word, for example, guilt or anger or whatever, so you type the search words and then you can get, across many, many results there. So what Mother and
Okay.
Sri
Got it.
Aurobindo have shared on that particular topic. Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the thing that I shared in the morning. And somebody is asking, Mother, has the psychic any power? And Mother says, power? You know, it is just the psychic which guides the being. So we don't even know. The surface consciousness may be completely unaware, but the direction my life is taking is just propelled by the psychic. So it's just that what is the guiding propeller. And Mother shares, one knows nothing about it because one is not conscious of it. If I am not conscious of sunlight because I have so much of blindness in my eyes, it does not make sun disappear. Sun is still there. Sun is doing its work of illumination. So it's just like that if I am unaware of my truth, that does not make the truth absent. The truth is working in its full intensity, right? If one is very attentive, one becomes aware of it. Now, this is the sensitivity I think all of us need in our life, because over years we have almost become numb to what really is happening, observing life carefully and everything. We are just in a mad rush of becoming something. And in that mad rush, we fail to see very much right there in front of us. What is my life taking me through, and what are the experiences? What are they trying to tell me? What are they trying to hint at? So that's the sensitivity that we need. And only then we can actually, go towards life divine with so much of sensitivity that we are there each moment of our life. So, Mother is sharing, if one is very attentive, one becomes aware of it. But the majority of men haven't the least idea of it. We are running, getting a better job after better job, maybe marriage, kids, a new car, a new house. So we have no idea what really is happening in the being, which is so close to us. It's not only the body, the life is so close and intimate, but yet in our agendas we fail to kind of observe it. For instance, when they have decided in their outer ignorance to do something, now I could really relate with this very strongly. So imagine that I have a plan and I begin with a lot of vitality, with the emotional, passion to execute that plan. Now, if I am sensitive, I will see that I am facing from all sides counter suggestions that this should not be done, this should not be done. And yet, without hearing those counter suggestions, or without listening or paying attention to what the universe is trying to tell me, I just continue blindly in what I want to do. As if the whole universe is trying to tell me that, maybe some other way, maybe some other way, this way, maybe you can try this. But I am just so blinded by my passion that I'm not able to look at it, the signals that the universe tries to give me. And these signals are coming from the psychic. This is what mother shares, that if they have decided in their outer ignorance to do something, and instead of their being able to do that, all the circumstances are so organized that they do something else. So instead of observing this carefully, they start shouting, storming, flying into rage, why fate is so cruel, or why God is not letting me do this, all that, saying that nature is wicked, or their destiny is baleful, or God is unjust, no matter what. Whilst most of the time it is just the very circumstance which was most favorable for their inner development. So as if they were being guided to this most favorable circumstance, but owing to the fact that I have this plan in my head and that should not move, I'm just blindly following that plan and not able to see what is there in store for me. And naturally, if you ask the psychic to help you to fashion a pleasant life to yourself, to earn money, children who would be the pride of family, it's really amazing how mother says this. Well, the psychic will not help you, and that is the reason each one of us in their family has something or the other which will propel them to unite with the divine. None of us have a so-called normal life. We all have things and issues in our life, and we are blessed if we have them, because they are the ones who propel us to a life divine, something more than the material life. Yeah, this is really so beautiful. But will create for you, so psychic can create for you all the circumstances necessary to awaken something in you, so that the need of union with the divine may be born. So I will be given shocks, I will be giving all kinds of pain, suffering, whatever is required, so that this longing to be with the divine, which is my own true essence, arises in the being. And that is why longing has been really considered to be important in human birth. No? Yeah. At times you have made fine plans, and if they had succeeded, you would have been more and more encrusted in your outer ignorance. If I had gotten material success, again plunging into more and more materialism. There is no end to greed. So it's good that my plan fails, it's good that I suffer losses in my share or whatever, wherever I invest, because only then I wake up to this, there is something else than money and everything else. Your stupid little ambition and your aimless activity. And whilst if you receive a good shock, I love this, really love this. Whilst if you receive a good shock and the post you coveted is denied to you, the plan you made is shattered, and you find yourself completely thwarted, then sometimes this opposition, and mother says sometimes, because human nature is like dog's tail, Sri Aurobindo says, so it's not every time that I'll be able to do that, but sometimes this opposition opens to you a door on something truer and deeper. And when you are a little awake and look back, if you are in at least sincere, you say, ah, it wasn't I who was right, it was nature or divine grace or my psychic being, all the same thing. It's the psychic being which organized that. So, and it's only in long run we realize that what appeared to us as a tragedy or shock was so beneficial, transformational for us. So just loved the whole paragraph, really. Very important.
And also, no, for a long time, one shock, I will receive one shock, then pray for that, come out of it. And after some time, another shock.
Exactly.
It took me a long time to realize,
Yeah.
no, this is not the thing, actually.
Yeah.
This, yeah.
Yeah. And good.
Now it looks
Yes,
very funny for me.
yeah, you're right. Bilkul, bilkul. Yeah. I think blow after blow is needed because again, our nature is so stubborn. I may kind of see its effect for 1 year, but then after 1 year, what happens is I need another shock because the nature has come back. The intensity of greed, desire, passion, that has all come back.
Yeah.
So it's really, then it becomes important for the shocks to reappear in milder or, whatever fervor. Yeah.
And also for us, no, for us, there may be generation, I don't know, you are all different. And for us, our life is around our children, okay? So always towards their welfare. Without realizing they are individuals, they are having their own journey, they have to go through it.
Yeah.
That knowledge, no, it came only after a very, very long time. That is the funny thing, I
Yeah.
can say.
Yeah. Good that we can laugh about it. Really.
But the grace is throughout with us, no? It is the real, even whether we realize the psychic or not, that grace is always there.
Yes, yes, yes.
That only pulls us every time pulls us.
Yeah, yeah. And it may just, as mother has shared, when the intensity is, the attitude is right, you just receive a word from somewhere, or maybe somebody says a sentence, and that is enough to pull you out of that darkness, you may be going
Yeah.
through. A person may come across, or you may just, your eyes may fall upon a book, something on a newspaper, anything can happen. Infinite possible ways of working of divine grace. Yeah. Yes, Taru, would you like to share now if you have the capacity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am reading The Hidden Forces of Life, and congratulations to me, I've completed the book today. So, but before I say anything, I just want to say that Chitra ji, you're looking so beautiful on the screen, so beautiful. The color combination, I don't know, green and red, like I can't take my eyes off you. Okay, moving on. So,
Thank you.
yeah. Actually, my sister-in-law just walked in and she also commented that who is this beautiful person? Kind, so imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so so in this there's this last chapter which says life, a mass of vibrations. So here it's like from the question and answers, she has spoken about chance. It says chance can only be the opposite of order and harmony. Like it was beautiful to read that, right? Like we take chance, like the way we take chance is so erratic, right? But she's calling it the opposite of order and harmony. There is only one true harmony, and that is the supramental, the reign of truth, the expression of the divine law. In the super mind, therefore, chance has no place. But in the lower nature, the supreme truth is obscured, and hence there is an absence of that divine unity of purpose and action which alone can constitute order. So because there's no order, there's chance. Like that, this is like something I've never contemplated on. Lacking this unity, the domain of the lower nature is governed by what we may call chance, and that is to say, it is a field in which various conflicting forces intermix, having no single definite aim. Defined aim, yeah. So this is Chand from Question and Answers 1929-31.
Yeah, I
So
shared.
if Chand, yeah, have you shared this before?
No, I've just shared it on the chat window.
Okay,
Link that
okay,
you are reading.
okay. Yeah, so but last one line is there. If chance is the expression of disorder in the lower world, still there are happy chances. No, sorry, ये तो next question था. So just ignore this. This the one that I had read before was from Mother.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and what based on like on the same lines that Chitra ji was reading, the first thing she read, uh, there's this passage on all your reactions come from atavism, from those who give you birth and from the environment in which you have lived, from all the impressions which have accumulated in you and constituted something which seems to you yourself, yet which is not produced by you but merely felt and experienced. So, a beautiful example was given to explain this, that you wouldn't say that the gramophone has created the sound you hear. You know, we think we are doing things, but these are things that we are just catching on. So that would never occur to you. But as you are under the illusion of your separate personalities, these thoughts which cross your mind and find expression, these feelings which pass through your vital and find expressions, you think have come from you, but nothing comes from you. Where is the you which can create all this? You must go deep, deep, deep within and find that eternal essence of your being to know the creative reality in yourself. So there's a lot more on this, but again, like on, so yeah.
Yeah.
The lower nature is, I mean, that only prone for chances, chances. Lower nature. That's what she read, no? Lower nature is, yeah.
Yeah, because in that it is said it's a mix, right? There's resistance and there is like contradicting forces, but the supermind, there is no chance. Everything that has been decided, it just takes effect as and how it should be.
But the ultimate solution is, I mean, you go inside deep and find your eternity. That is the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So, you know, it's maybe they, like in this also they have given a beautiful thing to just elaborate it further. You must understand that you are not separate individualities, that life is a constant exchange of forces, of consciousnesses, of vibrations, of movements of all kinds. It is as in a crowd you see when everyone pushes, all go forward, and when all recede, everyone recedes. So she was talking about, you know, how collective consciousness, that it's impossible that the world does not progress and you progress alone. So there's a lot on that as well.
The mind only is coming in between, no? Even after we realize all this, I mean, realize means not achieving that full thing, but at least some point we realize that. But the mind is coming in between, no? Always, always.
Mm.
Yesterday you read in Savitri.
Mm.
We read there, no?
The screen of
Very
the mind.
beautifully he explained, no? Shall be the war of thoughts or father of the universe. War
Mm.
of thoughts.
Mm.
Again and again that line is lingering in me actually.
Mm.
War of thoughts, father of the universe. My God.
So I would like to go over this thing that Taru has read. I have just shared it in the chat window. Um, so all your reactions come from atavism, from those who gave you birth, and from the environment in which you have lived, from all the impressions which you have accumulated, which accumulated in you and constituted something which seems to you yourself. I think this is really very, very important, and in other language we can call it as our conditioning. The way we think is our conditioning. The way I feel is my conditioning. The way I take the body to be is my conditioning. And I think that this is me and I never question it. I just take it for granted that this is me. मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ. I am like that. That is, we never even question that why on earth am I like that? What made me like that? And with the beginning of painful experiences, we begin to question that, why am I stuck in a thought pattern like that? What is pushing me, propelling me to think in a particular way and not to expand the wide view, the mental view? So this is, as if we are all bound by conditioning, and we think or we take the conditioning to be ourselves, that this is who I am. I am like this only. If you want to live with me, live. Otherwise, I am like this, like a piece of stone almost. So this conditioning or this constitution is not produced by you. It has been given to us. It has been given to us by parents. It has been given to us by the society, by the advertisements, by the movies that we watch, by the books we may have read, the moral, ethical, all the books that we have read. It has all been given, and we have just without questioning, because the age was not, or maybe conditioning did not allow us to question, we just internalized without questioning what is to be taken, what is not to be taken, yet which is not produced by you but merely felt and experienced. So I experience all the feelings, all the thoughts, all the emotions and all that. You become aware of it in sing, but I don't know what sing is, but it is not you who created it, not you who gave it birth. It could be said that these are like sounds, as Taru I think already touched upon this. Any kind of sounds, words, music, anything recorded by an instrument. So it's amazing the metaphor that mother is giving. It's almost a recording going on, playing itself in my head again and again. These are the unconscious patterns that we are stuck in. The same reaction going on in my being for years and years at large. And that is what I call as myself. I have never questioned where did this attitude come from? Who gave me such kind of a thought pattern? So this plays like a recording. This plays like a monotone. Every time person says something, the same record plays. Every time a person says something, the same reaction comes out. So, and I never, because we are so blinded by our mental ignorance that we fail to see ourselves as the other. If we have the capacity of looking at our own thought patterns as other, then we will not be so much blinded. How easily we can see anything in other person, that he is angry person or whatever, how easily we are able to see in somebody else. Why? Because that person is at a distance from us. That person I call as not me. This person is somebody else. It is not me. And if I completely attach myself to the conditioning, that is what blinds me. I am not able to, see it as other. So that attachment to my own thought patterns, that attachment to my own ways of thinking is blinding in nature. It blinds me. And hence I cannot look at it objectively. right? So if this beautiful thing can happen, that I begin to look at my own thought patterns. What happens if somebody insults me? What happens if somebody praises me? What is the movement that happens in the being? If we begin to see this as if it is happening to a separate person, that gives us so much of objectivity and also a liberation from that bondage of getting stuck into that pattern. So this is yeah. So then in the last paragraph, mother, even in prayers and meditations, there is one resolution for each and every confusion mother shares. You must go deep, deep within and find the eternal essence, that which never dies, is never born, of your being. What is that in me that has never been born, that would never die, that is not touched by material circumstances? To know the creative, that is the creative reality. Otherwise our life becomes a monotone. Our life becomes a rut. So if I am unable to look at the patterns that are ruling me, the patterns will be playing themselves in a recording, playing over them in a loop, and hence it will be boring, because there is nothing new in life. The patterns are ruling my life. While if I get in touch with this creative aspect in me, the reality that is unborn, then only it manifests itself out in my life. So both the things happen by, parallelly. I begin to look at my conditioning. I begin to look at how I operate in the head, in the feelings. What happens if somebody says that, and how do I operate? And along with this seeing, I also, go deeper in my being and get in touch with this creative reality. Because that seeing aspect is a connection to that creative reality, that witnessing aspect. Yeah. And once you have found that, you will realize that it is one single thing. It is not divided. Our consciousness is not divided. When I say that I am pure light of seeing, that light of seeing is present everywhere. Each person has that capacity. So where is it disconnected? It is not separate then. So, and that is the oneness that we share. When we say that we are all one, this is how we are all one. Otherwise, in bodies and personalities, we are different. But this sense of seeing, the witnessing, it is just one. It is not even interconnected. It is just one huge witnessing going on. And here mother says, so where is your separate personality? If I know myself as that seeing aspect, where is my separate personality? There is none. I will not be able to find anyone. So this, this
Yeah,
has,
that is what Ramana Maharshi also said, it
yeah,
seems.
yeah,
Someone else, where is another person? Where is it?
yeah,
He used to ask, yeah.
yes,
Very nice. And from that oneness, you watch the thoughts, you watch the activities. And if you watch the thoughts from that oneness, what will happen? I mean, those thoughts will slowly subside, or
who wants to know? Ramana Maharishi will ask, who wants to know? Who wants to plan?
yeah, that is there. Because I find it is I'm not giving importance to that, but it is going on. No, it is, if anything, if any news comes connected with that, as you said, connected with the past events,
Yeah,
so immediately without any control it arises. No, so we are seeing from our, I mean,
yeah,
that
Chitraji,
oneness. Yeah.
there is something, I think you touched upon a very important point. Sambhav had also asked something in this aspect yesterday in the
Mm.
subject circle. So, if I am, so imagine that I have an illness and someone says that uh, awaken to your being,
Mm.
and hopefully the illness will be gone. Now I am on this path of awakening. knowing myself as who I truly am. And again, the mind wants to know, but will the illness be gone? Will the illness be gone? You know, will the illness be gone? So what is happening is that whatever I am doing in life is I'm waiting for a result.
Correct.
That's going to be a misery for you. While if I take the whole happening of a disease as an exploration of the being and forget about the disease, that whether the disease is or not, I don't care. This exploration itself is so beautiful that I just enjoy this.
Yeah.
Then the mind will not be, bothering you with will asking that, whether it will be this or that, would the thoughts will be disappeared or not, would the feelings of anger or hate will be there. So these questions will not arise, because even when hate happens, take it as an exploration.
Okay.
Even when anger happens, I take it as exploration. So who wants
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So this is the function of the mind. It jumps up again. Jumps up again. Give me the the list of benefits you will get.
Yeah.
Yes, Sambhav, want to
Very
ask?
beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah,
Now at least we can scan it now.
Yeah. Yes, Sambhav.
yeah. I want to say that what happens is that when we are in a situation, when we are out there fighting a battle, then at that time, distancing from your ego center or seeing your reality of thoughts and everything that we are discussing right now, that becomes a bit difficult.
Hmm.
And after the situation is over and we are back in a relaxed position and we are at ease, then all the things that happened in that moment reoccur in the head.
Yeah.
And then we try to see that, okay, that these are just thoughts and we are apart from that and it's not me. But in the moment of battle, in the moment of situation, this thing is very difficult to take up. So this is just what I wanted to say.
Sambhav, this is really very relevant, and it starts with this only. होता क्या है कि otherwise I am just a potly or a bag full of tendencies with no consciousness
Mm-hmm.
that it is a tendency and it is just operating my life. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First step is that uh, I have acted in the situation, as you said, in a battle-like situation, and
Mm-hmm.
later on, after some time, when I have the silent time, I, think about it. So that is the first
Mm-hmm.
step. At least you have now taken the time to look over it. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
not even question what really happened. You would not even reflect. You would say, मैं तो ऐसा ही हूँ, मैं होता तो ऐसे ही करता. Question ही नहीं किया, reflect ही नहीं किया.
Mm-hmm.
So let it start.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful that if
Right.
you have some moments like this where the event has happened, and now in my
Right.
silent time, I am contemplating over it. Now,
Right.
this contemplation has to become my life,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so that even when after some time I am in the middle of the battle, I can do nothing
Mm-hmm.
but reflect and act.
Mm.
So this is
Got
beautiful.
it.
Yeah, this is really beautiful. There's nothing wrong there for that phase to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Important phase. It's a matter of stepping back. Now you are stepping back and looking at your tendencies.
Right.
You are not your tendency, because tendency will never
Right.
question itself. Something
Right.
which is away from the tendency will care to question about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here you are strengthening that aspect, which is observing the tendency. So it begins like
Right.
this, and many a times, even later on in years after sadhana, some or the other vritti or tendency may come up, which in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of the vritti you are not able to reflect. It has a very strong power over you. It is a part of your
Right.
being. It's like, it's sticking to you,
Right.
and hence
Right.
you will not be able to do this reflection right there in the middle. But whenever you have time, do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it may start like this, and then it just takes over the whole life. The day-to-day life becomes a continuous series of reflection, contemplation, and all that. Even when you are cooking, even when you are sleeping, it's not ending. When you are bathing, it's not ending. It becomes your life. And then when any challenge happens, then owing to the fact that it has become your life, you will not be able to react any other way but reflect and act. Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful, Monica. Beautiful. The point is very nice, actually, contemplating upon. Yeah. Because now we are able to see, actually, watch. It is not ours. I can feel that. I mean, as you read, no, it is atavism, it is coming from outside. That and all we can realize. Since we are able to go inside a little bit at least.
Mm.
So that made me to think these thoughts are not mine. It is coming. It's coming
What
from
the-
outside.
what
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful.
And as you said, next thing is not expecting any benefits from it, but that you nicely pointed out. Yeah, very nice it is.
I think uh, the whole conditioning of society is goal oriented,
Yeah, correct.
achievement oriented. So it has entered us, right? Even on spiritual path, I'm like, okay, what will be the benefit? Because I can't help it. I don't even know where it came from in the
Yeah.
beginning. Uh, a little child, an infant, he is fine playing in the mud.
Correct.
There is nothing that he wants because the exploration itself is so beautiful.
Mm.
But a father will come, and once the child has a bit grown up, he would say that, what is the benefit of this that you are doing? So he would say, no, I'm just enjoying it. I don't have any benefit. Is joy not a benefit? So this life as an exploration is a benefit onto itself. There is no other benefit.
Mm.
I am
Yeah.
taking life as an exploration because I feel joy in it, I feel
Mm.
happiness in it.
That is.
That's it. I'm not wanting for the thoughts to vanish. I'm not wanting for my atavisms to vanish. I'm just having a good time observing the atavism.
Yeah. Not going to that stories. Yeah, again those. Yeah. Mm.
And also seeing again, if the story comes again, okay, here you are again, taking it in a fun way also, that, this is how you operate. You come back again after
Yeah.
some.
As you said, now the life has become very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
There's no boredom.
No
No,
boredom.
totally that watching TV also stopped completely, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
After all these things, no sessions, and it's very beneficial, really.
Beautiful.
Benefits. Again, if I tell them,
One. You cook yourself.
yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. Yes, Sambhav, you want to share?
Yeah. So I was reading Osho at some point of time in my life,
Yeah.
and there a beautiful thing that came across was that this was like a picture that was painted of a sage that is who is a realized one. So he is seeing that there's sunlight, there's warmth, and then there's shade under the tree. So he
Hmm.
says that the realized one always stays in the shade. He understands the beauty of calmness that is there under the shade. So he never comes out in the sunlight. The reference is that, for example, if somebody is realized, then with that knowing of the ultimate, he tries to stay with it all the time. So he won't
Hmm.
let it go at any point of. So why go out in the shade, in the sunlight, if you know the shade? So this was what I also feel that, my desire is also that it should not go away at any time. Like you said, no, that you can return to it, but you don't want to go away from it in the first place. So yeah.
बिल्कुल संभव होता क्या है, जब हम लाइफ को एक एक्सप्लोरेशन की तरह लेते हैं ना, तो अगर मैं डिजायर की डार्कनेस में भी हूं ना, if I am in the plunges of the desire, and if I have this attitude of taking life as an exploration, I will find God there as well. This I can challenge you. I can give you a guarantee also on a, with my signatures on a stamp paper that
Mm-hmm.
2000% sure, even in the plunges of anger, even in the plunges of hate, jealousy, pride, whatever, all the negative so-called dark,
Mm-hmm.
you will find,
Mm-hmm.
if you have the right attitude that life is an exploration, let me see what this phase or emotion is trying to tell me.
Okay.
Let me go to the depths of it. And
Mm-hmm.
why we say God is hiding everywhere. So if we see
Mm-hmm.
anger, it will appear that, oh my God, how can God be there? It is so ugly, right?
Mm-hmm.
But God is there. Go to
Right.
the depth of anger and you will find. And if you have not gotten God, it means you have not gotten to the depth of anger.
Hmm.
So this is what
Right.
mother says when mother says go deep, deep, deep in the being.
Hmm.
Anger has the
Mm-hmm.
capacity to take me deep into the being. And there
Mm-hmm.
there is only one reality, and that is divine.
Mm-hmm.
Truth, Satya, Sundar,
Hmm.
anything, any name for that, Whether you
Mm-hmm.
or truth or beauty or light or understanding, these are all names for the same thing.
Got it. Got it.
Right? तो आप देखो ना, हम वही बात कर रहे हैं कि मुझे और कुछ नहीं चाहिए, अगर मेरे पास जो भी अभी का रॉ मटेरियल है, अभी अगर रॉ मटेरियल है डिजायर, ओके,
Hmm.
सी व्हाट डिजायर इज. No, let me
Right.
go to the depth of what desire, how desire comes, what desire makes me
Right.
do, what happens through the movement of desire. And you will see that you will
Yeah.
fall in love with each and every movement of life. You will not be afraid anymore of any dark emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also that fear of I may not lose, you were saying that I should be remaining in this state. It is not a possibility that you are not remaining in that state, because even in darkness
Hmm.
you find light. How stubborn you are.
Right.
So this is the stubbornness that all of us need, to be
Hmm.
so stubborn that यार
Hmm.
कितना भी कचड़ा हो, मैं तो इसमें से लाइट निकाल ही लूंगा, क्योंकि
Hmm.
कचड़े की जो सच्चाई है वो लाइट ही है.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there is
Right.
no fear of losing that state.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What you and Chitra ji were talking about, na, how it always enter her like from somewhere that desire or benefit. Today only I read this, I'll just share it, it was beautiful. Uh, Therefore, a perfect purity, a perfect perfection seems impossible so long as the world has not reached at least a certain degree of perfection. Even the ascetic, the solitary, who goes and sits in a cave or under a tree in the jungle, cannot completely free himself from solidarity with the rest of the world. The air he breathes is full of all the vibrations of the world. The food he eats, whatever it may be, even if it's reduced to the minimum, contains the vibrations of the world. And
Yeah.
so it is enough for him to exist, to be in solidarity with the difficult. It is enough for him to exist, to be in solidarity with the difficulties of the world. And you know what you were talking about, like how we are so repetitive. Like I think in the beginning, when we start paying attention to our thoughts, it's maddening. Okay, a thought comes and you see it and you're like, okay, yeah, I get it. And then after 3, 4 minutes again, you realize the same thing, same thing, same thing. Like it's like, am I crazy? Kind of like when you first look at it, and it's so strange that you don't even notice it. And now, when I hear things around me, like regular people talking in the market and all, like even yesterday, I had this example. There were two guys just talking, waiting on their kids somewhere in their middle 40s, maybe. So one of them asked him, "Do you play any sports?" And the other one was like, "Yes, I play tennis." And he was like, "Okay." And he was like, and tennis is the best sport in the whole world. So he was like, "I've only played tennis in my life." That was his first sentence. And the second was, "And that is the best." Like, how do you know that? And he said that with so much conviction कि मैंने सारे खेल के देख लिए और वो सबसे अच्छा है. But that wasn't it. Like, the only sports I've played is tennis. And I can tell you with, like you were telling Sambhav, with the stamp paper and my signature. So,
Yeah.
like, if only we were hearing what
Yeah.
we are saying,
Yeah.
we would question ourselves and our sanity, right? What did I just say? So it's really amazing when you start noticing those things, because obviously, the world is a mirror and that's what you do too. So, and yesterday, in Savitri, also this thing was coming to me, that even if you are aware that you are in Kuda, right? Like we were talking about the transformation, that if you are in trash or if you're in mud, that's such a big blessing in itself. Like they were saying now that now he's aware, he could see where he was and he was at a different place. But even if you're not at a different place yet, but you can just see that where I am is not where I want to be in general, because there's a better place possible for me, not in materialistic terms. So that's again is such a big blessing. Yeah.
Yeah. Shall we call it a session? Because I have to go somewhere, make a call, make an important call. So is it okay if we end
Yeah.
it here? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining.
Yeah.
Very much. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Subhav. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chitra ji. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you, Monica.